Another sound you're going to hear quite frequently referred to as roaring or as growling. Those sounds, in my opinion, are typically made whenever deer is either extremely upset or it's in distress. You'll hear them for the most part whenever there are big fights going on where there's multiple bucks involved, or they're in some other type of stressed out environment. And you will hear it on occasion whenever an older, more mature buck is following a doe. So they certainly have their place. I myself personally don't use it a lot, but you can use it in a blind calling sequence from time to time. Remember, the more deer there are, the more eyes you have around you, and you may be working a buck thinking you're all alone, and before you know it, you've got a doe right below your stand that's got you nailed. So you have to be very, very cautious when you're using your calling sequences, and when you're attempting to communicate, try to communicate whenever your deer numbers are real low around you and not whenever there's massive numbers of deer around you.
Now, to make the roar sound, all you're really doing is you're blowing through your call in the buck position. So you're adding a lot of heavy air pressure on it, and you're just kind of doing a roar. And you do build your air pressure up. You'll start to hear the grunt go into like a growly sound, and then you just end it with a burst, and use your hand to make that sound as well. And it sounds like this. You'll notice how when I hit that hard burst at the end, I open my hand, you'll get that roar. And you know, that's a sound of distress. And here's an example. We were at a deer farm where they were actually inoculating some of the deer and taking their sheds off, you know, for their own safety. And you can hear this sound. And you know, there's different scenarios when you can use it in cold calling and whatnot. I've personally seen it, a deer do it when it was trying to charge a doe that was in estrus and trying to get her up and moving so that he could breed her. He would charge and do that little roar. And the other place is I've used it in cold calling, where I sounded like a doe that was in estrus with a little buck in the area, and then I sounded like a bigger buck pushing off that, you know, creating this commotion of a bunch of deer. And after a long breeding grunt, I did this roar, and I had a nice about a 135 Pope and Young come flying into us on that. So it can be effective. It is very loud. It's a very aggressive sound, and you will push deer away if you overuse this. Or, you know, just be careful with it is all I can really say.
Easy to soften. You'll run the saw then, right? Saw. Okay with that? Yeah, it's probably easier from your perspective.